Well, hello, lovely internet people. I hope 2023 is treating you well so far. Today, I'm bringing you a list of what I believe to be the greatest Quest 2 titles of all time. I have to be honest, the Quest 2 is my first and only VR headset, so while I'm certainly not the authority on everything VR, I have fallen in love with the medium enough to talk to or at the internet about it, as well as almost immediately buy the entire Quest 2 catalog and spend a preposterous amount of time in virtual reality. So I want to say these are my personal favorite titles. There are definitely some glaring omissions here that people will take note of. I simply haven't had time to play everything yet. Not the worst problem to have. Sadly, we all know that a lot of VR releases are basically glorified tech demos or short, shallow experiences. I'm here to wade through all the crap for you. I aim to fill this list with titles that I feel to be of the highest quality, provide the most fun, value, and replayability. So without further ado, let's get to the list. Number 25, In Death Unchained. Many of my favorite Quest 2 games have ended up being roguelites. I've always been a bit skeptical of reliance on procedurally generated maps in games. It's often a way for lazy developers to exclaim, "Look, more content," without actually creating anything interesting. Well, a handful of titles on the Quest get it right, and In Death Unchained is one of them. This is the best archery game on the platform, and it's a damn fun roguelite to boot. It's $30, but the community and the developers are very active. There are frequent updates and events for avid players to take part in. Number 24, Paradiddle. I may have taken some slight liberties while titling this video. A handful of these titles straight up are not games, but I believe they showcase the range of experiences the Quest 2 has to offer quite well. As a drum teacher, I would be remiss if I didn't list Paradiddle here. Paradiddle is the de facto virtual reality drumming simulator that just recently saw its full release. Paradiddle allows you to play a drum set without having a drum set. Pretty cool. While I do view this in its current state as a little bit more of a novelty than a tool, Paradiddle gives us a glimpse at musical instrument simulation's potential. The full release brings lessons and a note highway to play along to, similar to Rock Band. This is a legitimate tool to learn the instrument, though a limited one, that won't allow a new player to develop the proper technique the real instrument requires. But for $10, I see a ton of value here. Number 23, Cosmodread. Of all the roguelites on this list, Cosmodread doesn't have the best graphics, or the best sound design, or the best mechanics, but it may be the coolest one of them all, at least for a sci-fi obsessed horror fan. If you ever watched the movie Event Horizon and thought, yeah, I could survive that, well, this is basically that game, only with the obligatory comparison to Dead Space chalked in. This game is frickin' rad, and a steal at $15. Number 22, Compound. As with all great VR experiences, you really have to experience this one in a headset to fully appreciate it. At a glance, Compound is perhaps not graphically stunning. You might even want to criticize it for them. But the developer actually managed to craft a beautiful game here out of big chunky pixels. Compound is another randomized roguelite. It's a first-person shooter bullet hell game that is superbly crafted and polished. I've put in about 30 hours, and I've just started to crack the surface, and have been really hooked on this one presently. This is $20 for a game that you could spend dozens of hours with. Number 21, Green Hell. So this game isn't quite as cool as The Forest, but that game isn't available on the Quest, so I guess I should talk about the game that I did actually put on this list. Green Hell is also arguably the superior Survivor game. It's definitely the most realistic one that I've played, and in VR it is so much more immersive and fun to do what I often find to be chores in 2D survival games. This port is an absolute technical marvel, and plays better on the Quest than it does on a lot of PC rigs. You'll easily get your $25 worth out of this one. Number 20, Virtuoso. This is a legitimately innovative way to interact with instruments, and while this isn't capable enough software to produce anything of professional quality on its own, I actually think this is amazing software to create musical sketches or make loops and sounds that you could then resample in a real digital audio workstation. I know this can be a bit of a cop-out phrase, but Virtuoso makes me excited for more developers to get into VR music production and what can come of it in the future. Till then, I do think this is very worth $20, spending some time playing with very unique virtual instruments. Number 19, Vox Machinae. 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 Alright, who hasn't fantasized about piloting a Gundam or a mech since prepubescence? Well, this game freaking delivers. It took me a long while to get even semi-competent at the controls. There's a really active Discord of veteran players to learn from, though. The physics in this game are awesome. If your armor is destroyed, your mech becomes lighter and faster. It can even jump higher. Chipping away at said armor will expose weak points to target. The variety in mechs and gameplay is great, and since the recent release on the Quest Store, the player base is more active than ever. $30 well spent. Number 18, Ancient Dungeon. Hey, another procedurally generated pixel art roguelite. I swear this one is really good too, though. Fantastic even. This is the best and certainly most charming dungeon crawler on the platform. Ancient Dungeon is so much fun, and co-op is about to be added imminently. I can't wait to play this with friends. This will absolutely add to its already very high replayability. $20? Pfft, take it. Number 17, Population 1. A proper battle royale game in VR, and a very solid one at that. I can't lie, I always hop into Contractors rather than Pop 1, but that's really just a genre preference on my part. Population 1 does what it does very well, and it would be plain wrong for me not to include it on a list of top-tier, high-value, replayable Quest games. Population 1 is $30. Number 16, Blade and Sorcery. Every sick, twisted sadist's favorite VR game, mine included. I once read a Reddit post in the relationship advice subreddit made by a concerned girlfriend who had discovered the way her boyfriend had been spending all of his time in VR was bullying and murdering medieval AIs in the most barbaric, evil ways possible with gleeful delight. Well, that is exactly how Blade and Sorcery is meant to be played, and oh my god is it glorious. $20? Guess what? Worth it. Number 15, Into the Radius. If you've ever looked up an Into the Radius review, you've probably seen a lot of this sentiment. It's Stalker in VR, bruh. Just get it, bruh. Well, it's Stalker in VR, bruh, and you should absolutely get it. It did take me a little while to start really feeling Into the Radius. It's filled with survival mechanics that, again, I've often regarded as tedious in the past, but it only serves to create a deep game that immerses you in its world better than any other I've played. That alone earns it a spot on this list, though its gameplay mechanics and sound design are on another level than its peers. Into the Radius is absolutely worth $30 in exchange for dozens of hours of survival shooter goodness. Number 14, PianoVision. Ahem. Let me get back on my "this is what VR was made for" soapbox for a moment. PianoVision accelerates your piano learning using pass-through augmented reality and hand tracking. Connect a MIDI keyboard directly to your Quest, or play on a flat surface with the Air Piano. This will overlay piano tutorials directly over your keyboard so you can visualize which notes to play and in what rhythm and dynamic. Best of all, this is a free app on AppLab. Just amazing. Number 13, Beat Saber. The OG VR rhythm game, and still one of the very best. I'm not going to say much here other than this is a legendary game, very much worth owning and playing. I think like pretty much everybody gets it for free these days, but otherwise it's $30. Number 12, Mills Bodycombat. If you are going to own and use only one fitness app on the Quest 2, Mills Bodycombat is the one. These are legitimate cardio and calisthenic workouts in a really polished, gamified experience that I find to be much more engaging and motivating than doing my own routines solo. With no subscription, this feels like a fitness product worth hundreds of dollars that you could spend thousands of hours with. No joke. $30. Number 11, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapters 1 and 2. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners are the closest thing we've been given as the Quest 2's Half-Life Alyx, aka the AAA studio treatment of top-shelf story, gameplay, and graphics. I would say it almost hits that mark. I almost wanted to include the game Lies Beneath somewhere at the bottom of this list as something that fits a similar bill, but ultimately Saints and Sinners fixes the issues I had with that game, namely the dissatisfying, clunky combat and controls. This is the most expensive title on the list at $40 and arguably the least replayable. But hey, that is the AAA treatment, right? Number 10, Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip is the most unique and stylish rhythm game the Quest 2 has to offer, breaking the typical formula of hit this thing from this angle at this time. Now instead, it's shoot these guys from this angle at this time. But damn is it fun. Pistol Whip has consistently received the best content updates of any Quest rhythm game, and is basically the only one to do so for free. No cash grab song packs. Next update will bring us Pistol Mix, introducing modding and custom songs to an already kick-ass title. Pistol Whip is $30. Number 9. 11 Table Tennis. 11 Table Tennis is one of the simplest, yet best designed Quest 2 games I've ever played. This is straight up a table tennis simulator, complete with training tools and an online multiplayer hub. One of the coolest things VR can do is allow ourselves to train real-world skills in the convenience of our headset at a fraction of the real-world investment, all while being fun as hell. 11 Table Tennis offers all of this for $20. Number 8. SynthVR. Hey, another not game. SynthVR is the synth nerd's sci-fi fantasy, a modular synthesizer environment built from the ground up for virtual reality. Based on the Eurorack standard and reimagined for VR, SynthVR offers an exciting and accessible path into the world of modular synth music. It comes packed with studio-quality synth modules, including oscillators, sequencers, effects, logic, and more. Anybody into this world knows that modular synthesizers can cost anywhere from a few $100s to hundreds of thousands of dollars. SynthVR emulates these synths and allows us to practice and create with these tools for a cool $25. Number 7. Resident Evil 4. One of the greatest survival horror games of all time is perfectly ported to the Quest 2 and is just a joy to re-experience in this medium. This is tied for the most expensive title on the list at $40, but this classic can be replayed and enjoyed many times if you're a fan. Just try it. Number 6. Smash Drums. Smash Drums is the best and most fun rhythm game on the Quest 2 by a wide margin, and that's on the back of a pretty shit catalog of songs to play to. Now, obviously that's a problem, but it's the only stain on an otherwise absolutely amazing game. No other rhythm game has consistently pulled me into a flow state and lit up my brain like learning to play songs on a real instrument does. I love this game to pieces and truly hope custom songs and a more dynamic song roster are added in the future. Well worth your $20. Number 5. Contractors. Contractors is the de facto competitive VR first-person shooter. This game just gets it right, and to me there isn't a ton to talk about beyond how damn awesome the modding community of this game is. Halo maps, Team Fortress maps, Star Wars Battlefront maps, and tons more. This game is epic and a must-have for any FPS fan. $20 is an absolute steal. Number 4. VR Animation Player. Alright, this is the last not game on the list, and perhaps the most questionable inclusion, but bear with me. This humble, free Quest 2 app has brought me some of my very favorite VR experiences. Dare I say life-changing. I speak of Quill Animations. Quill is software that renders graphics in real time. This eliminates blurriness and resolution issues of traditional video encoding. It's fully 3D with 6 degrees of freedom, literally pulling you into the scene, whereas cinema 3D experiences are 2.5D at best and limited to a rectangle in front of you. I find myself sitting inside of these animations often, being completely blown away and inspired. Some of my favorites are Tales from Soda Island, Nightmara, Hello, and Remedy. Amazing pieces of art in an innovative medium well worth your time, all completely free. Number 3. Walkabout Mini Golf. Walkabout. The first VR game I ever played, and it instantly sold me on the medium as a whole. What a cool way to hang out with friends and play a relaxing but engaging game that you can go as deep as you'd like with. The physics are incredibly well done, the courses are spectacular, and each DLC course has been a real treat. I reckon I got my $15 worth my very first session. Number 2. Tribe XR. Crap. I misspoke earlier when I said that was my last non-game, but we'll just leave that there. So Tribe XR. To me, this is the single most valuable app available on the Quest 2. Granted, you have any kind of interest in DJing. Tribe perfectly showcases one of the most powerful potentials of virtual reality, to replicate tools and tech so that we can learn entire skill sets in VR and bring them back to the real world ready to use. All that without having to spend the large sums of money said tools usually cost, the space to facilitate it, the time and knowledge to set up and maintain it, etc. Not to mention this app is just fun as hell. Everyone who loves music should DJ. It's a blast, and this is the perfect, affordable way to learn how. Tribe alone was worth the price of my headset. I can now practice on $10,000 Pioneer gear anytime I throw it on. Number 1, Demeo. Demeo is the game that every single time I jump into it, I ask myself, how the hell is there not an arsenal of tabletop, turn-based, and strategy games in VR? Why in the world has nobody played this and immediately connected the dots how freaking amazing having tabletop games like Warhammer 40,000 would be in this medium? This is the perfect medium to simulate any table, any terrain, freedom to customize your models and units. The potential there is seriously untapped. Imagine XCOM, BattleTech, or the Total War games in VR. The possibilities are endless. But, oh wait, I'm supposed to be talking about Demeo right now. Right, so I easily have most of my hours in VR spent playing Demeo. This game was developed so well. Deep, challenging, strategic gameplay that can be replayed time and time again. I do wish you had the option to scale the difficulty up even a bit further for the most hardcore of players, but I'm so thankful the developers didn't water this game down to be accessible and beatable by all. Just get yourself a copy and play. This game is a banger, even played solo. Demeo is priced at $30, but has constantly received free DLC updates that are entire new campaigns. And that does it. So, let me know what you think I got right, what I missed, how stupid I am for not including Bonelab, Red Matter, or Moss. Hell, tell me what you had for breakfast. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next time.